helped along by, among others, Marty Barrett, who now has 11 hits in the 6 games. So tonight, 2 teams, 1 game for the pennant. Beautiful night in New England. Clear, dry, temperature in the low 50s. Fenway Park is filling up as we get set for Game 7 of what has been a very dramatic American League Championship Series. I'm Al Michaels, and welcome to your, I suppose, basic second game of the doubleheader. If you can believe what has just taken place in Houston. The New York Mets, of course, are the champions of the National League, and tonight will determine which team will meet the Mets in the World Series. And a great pitching matchup tonight is Roger Clemens, who pitched so well the other night and yet was not involved in the decision when the Angels came from behind. He'll be going to the mound again on 3 days rest. So he's making his 3rd appearance in this series, and making his 2nd appearance in this championship series is the Angel left-hander John Candelaria, who pitched so well down the stretch. So the California Angels, who were a strike away from going to the World Series the other day, and then they were about 4 feet away. Remember, as Gary Pettis drove Jim Rice to the track, they've gone from a strike to 4 feet to a whole game. So it's California taking on Boston tonight in Game 7 for the right to meet the New York Mets. And let's follow up on that story from Houston as we go back to Keith Jackson. Keith?
Al, we have the formalities to go through now. The trinkets, the trophies, call them what you will, the symbols of what has taken place in these 6 games. Here's the first one, is Tim McCarver.
All right, Keith, thank you very much. I'm with Fred Wilpon, the president of the New York Mets, and the general manager of the New York Mets, Frank Cashin. And first, Fred, what a remarkable year.
It sure has been a remarkable year. I'm so proud of this team. They came back. They fought every minute of the way. I say hello to everybody in New York, and I hope they're as proud of this team as Frank and I and Nelson Doubleday are. Nelson had to stay home today, but I'm saying hello to my partner Nelson and everybody in New York who has helped to make this team a great team and a great success for the season.
Also in victory, you can't probably say enough good things about the Houston organization. That was one heck of a series.
Timmy, as soon as the game was over, John McMullen, who is a real gentleman and a fine owner, came over, and the Astros have a great team. I think this was one of the classic series that's ever been played. It was fantastic, but I'm happy to say that we won.
The engineer, the architect of the New York Mets, when Frank Cashin took over, there was a 5-year plan. Obviously, this is the zenith of that 5-year plan.
Well, we got one more step to go, but this is certainly a big step. And as you all said,
That's an aim here. You're waiting for this stuff. I got 2 more.
As you can see on the championship trophy, and the champagne is flowing. Let's go to Corey McFerrin so I can see. Corey?
all right, Timmy, we're just outside the Astros locker room. No champagne over here. With us is Mike Scott of the Houston Astros and Tom Mason of Chevrolet for the 1986 National League Championship Series MVP presentation by Chevrolet.
Mike Scott, I'd like to present you with the most valuable player trophy for your outstanding pitching in the League Championship Series for 1986. And on behalf of Chevrolet, to donate in your name a new car or truck to the charity of your choice. Congratulations.
Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it.
Mike, the character, the comebacks this club made today, an incredible series. Your comments about the Astros and the way they played.
Well, you know, this is going to be a tough one to swallow, but we've had such a great year. You know, I know everybody it's going to dwell for a little while, but we've got to look back in a week from now and say we had a pretty good season. I mean, we've done things that a lot of people didn't think we could do, and we've gone a long way this year, and we surprised a lot of people, and we should be proud of it.
Mike Scott, championship record, 19 strikeouts, first pitcher ever to throw 2 complete games in the championship series. Congratulations, Mike, on a great effort.
Thank you.
All right. Back to Keith Jackson.
Well, stories of scuffed balls, stories of this and stories of that all aside, it all came down to the fact that these two teams are composed of gamers.
And now
This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by the Traveler.
What's going through the players' mind in the clubhouse?
Well, if they could have been in our clubhouse after the game last night, there was some noisy determination going on. I think that it's been shown that both teams know how to play. I know it's been shown that both teams know how to win. And tonight we're going to find out which team knows how to win when they have to, and our players like our chance.
Gene, is there one veteran, is there a number of veterans that are kind of being the spokesman, if you per se, of the group? Some people say it might be Reggie Jackson. I kind of got a feeling you got a quarterback in Bob Boone.
Well, I think that probably the most vociferous naturally is Reggie. Reggie is a highly emotional guy. People think of Reggie as rather an aloof person, but he is a very sensitive man, and he wants this thing desperately.
Okay, there's no tomorrow for either side. And
we got a bullpen full of people, too, if we need them. I hope we only need one of them.
Well, now, that's a big question. Who do you go to first, Gene, if you have to go early?
I don't want John to Candelaria to need early help, but it would probably be Sutton, and if we get down there at the end with the lead, it'll be Mike Witt or Donnie Moore. Probably Mike Witt at the beginning.
Gene, thanks so much and good luck.
Thank you, Don.
And now Johnny McNamara. And the same thoughts, John, going through a lot of people's mind right here. You came home riding probably an all-time high as far as the ball club concerned in 1986. Your thoughts now? What are the thoughts of the players? On a scale of 1 to 10, where are they now as compared to when they won that game on Sunday?
Well, they're right up there, Don, after last night. Nobody has to tell us what we have to do tonight in order to keep going. And they're highly emotional, they're ready, and they've met every challenge so far, and we're looking for a very good ball game.
And Roger Clemens talked a little bit about having a little touch of the flu or an allergy or something that he might have had from smoke on the airplane, maybe a little wheezy. But how does he feel now? I assume this weather in this game has got to get him up if anything can.
Well, he's a highly competitive person, and you give him the baseball, he's going to give you the best he can. He was a little down on Monday, but yesterday and last night he improved, and he says he's fine tonight, but we will watch him very close and monitor him and his pitches.
Looking at Jim Rice on the field, I get a feeling, right, is he trying, is the 3-run homer, is the 5-run homer in his mind, or is he just trying to get the base hit?
Well, he's trying, but, you know, he puts a lot of pressure on himself, and he expects a lot out of himself, and he is just trying too hard. 1 or 2 base hits, and Jim Rice will be all right.
John, good luck.
Thanks, Don.
Right now, let's go back upstairs to Al Michaels.
Thank you, Don. And a beautiful shot, Fenway Park, on a clear night. It was a gorgeous day. Temperature in the low to mid-50s with Game 7 coming up shortly.
For the Mets to
Starting and losing pitcher in Game 1, pitched well, had no decision in Game 4. He, the sure Cy Young winner, and that will be announced officially in November, will be on the mound for Boston. And John Candelaria, the winning pitcher in Game 3 Friday, works for the California Angels in Game 7.
Saturday, an SEC rivalry as the #2 team in the nation, Alabama, tackles Tennessee.
Fenway Park, Boston, Al Michaels, Jim Palmer. Here we go, game number 7. When you talk to the players before a 7th game, everybody tries to, at least exterior-wise, show you how calm they are. But they also say, but you want to come out and play aggressively. How do you play in a Game 7?
Well, you really stay within yourself. That's a phrase that you commonly hear in baseball nowadays. And if you're a pitcher, that means throw the ball over. You can't have big innings. We've seen it throughout this series, and it's really hurt both ball clubs. And then if you're a hitter, you, as Reggie said, Roger Clemens, high fastball, you have to lay off that pitch. It really remains to be seen whether they'll be able to do that. And Candelaria is so tough, you have to make him throw strikes. Excellent control pitcher. So what you try to do is what you do best. And a lot of times you say that, but it's much more difficult to do it.
One of the oddities in this big name series is that the heroes have been the Barretts and the Boones and the Pettises. And really Reggie Jackson and Jim Rice have yet to be heard from.
Well, I'm glad you used the word yet. You try to keep the Munchkins, the Owen and the Barretts, who have had such outstanding series, the Schofields and the Boones, who really did not hit that well during the regular season off the base, because you basically know what the other guys can do. So far, the pitchers really have pitched better to the big guys than they have to the little guys, and that's the reason they're doing so well.
One of the big guys missing from the California lineup since the first 3 games has been the first baseman, Wally Joyner. Everybody, I think, knows his story by now, the bacterial infection. And that has kept him out of the lineup and has kept him out of Boston. And Wally is with us live from an administration room at St. Joseph's Hospital in Orange, California. First of all, how are you, Wally?
I'm doing lots better. The infection's going away slowly, but we're going in the right direction.
Now, what are they telling you in terms of the possibility of your playing in the World Series Saturday if the Angels get there?
Well, that's what we're shooting for. I have no control over the playoffs, as you can tell. I can't get to Boston, but we're shooting for me to get out of the hospital Friday, and hopefully I can get on a plane and be in New York for Game 1 Saturday.
What has it been like for you to watch this incredibly emotional series from a hospital room?
Well, it didn't really get to me until I had to call Gene Mock late Monday night and tell him that I wasn't getting any better and I couldn't play for him Tuesday night. That was probably one of the hardest phone calls I had to make. But, you know, I'm hopeless and helpless and I can't do anything. So I just have to be quiet. I can't scream. I can't holler. My family does that for me. But, you know, I just hope for the best and hopefully I can play in the World Series this year.
Wally, thank you. Get well soon. If you guys are there, I hope you're in New York on Saturday.
Thank you, Al.
Thanks for being with us. Wally Joyner from Orange, California, as we are now set for the start of Game 7. First, let's join the public address announcer, Schoenfeller.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we invite you to stand and join Susan Waldman in the singing of our national anthem.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight for the rampart we won were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare of bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, land of the free and the home of the brave.
We're down to 1. California against Boston for the American League pennant.
This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by the Heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet.
The Red Sox are taking the field for Game 7. Thundering ovation. And a little bit of an oddity here. There is the second base umpire, Terry Cooney. I don't know whether it was a cramp or just what, but as Cooney began to run out to his position, he needed attention. The Boston trainer came out to have a look, and for the moment anyway, Cooney is back in the dugout. Earlier, we talked to Roger Clemens about pitching in a pressure-packed game.
For myself, I like adversity. I like pressure. I like to be in the game when it's on the line, and I've expressed that to John McNamara that I want to be in there when that game's on the line. When I start getting mentally ready, I don't hear anybody. I don't hear the phone ring. I don't hear Deb when she says something to me. I'll be watching TV, but I'm not watching TV. I'm in my own little world, and that's where I like to stay until my game's over.
California lineup tonight, Rupert Jones leads off, and then Rob Wilfong bats second. Brian Downing, as has been the case every day, hits third, and Reggie Jackson is the DH, the cleanup hitter. Doug DeCense batting fifth. Then Dick Schofield, number 6. Gary Pettis has been moved up to 7 because he's been hot, and Bobby Grich has not. Thus, he's 8th. And Bob Boone bats 9th for California. The outfield for Boston, Rice in left, Henderson.